55 ways that everything that you think that you own is being systematically taken away from you, Michael Snyder reports. The entire system has been designed to generate as much revenue from your activity as possible until someday you eventually drop dead. It's tax season, and that means that it's time to feed the largest and most bloated government in the history of the entire planet once again. Of course, the federal income tax is just one of the ways that they're systematically draining your wealth. And as you'll see below, there are literally dozens of taxes that Americans must pay each year. Many of our politicians seem to revel in the invented ways to extract money out of us, and that needs to stop. Most Americans are working extremely hard, and yet money seems to keep going out one end faster than it's coming in. The truth is that the entire system has been designed to take what you have away from you. There are many ways that this is accomplished: taxation, inflation, debt, interest, fines, fees, tickets, government seizures, and good old-fashioned corporate greed. If you decided to just sit back and do nothing but hold on to the wealth that you already have, you would find out that it would disappear quite rapidly. It's not an accident that most Americans are experiencing a declining standard of living. The system is rigged, and the rigging has not been in our favor. The following are 55 ways that eventually everything that you think that you own is being systematically taken away from you. 1. Do you think that you own your home? You might want to think again. Most Americans that own a home are paying a mortgage, and if you stop paying that mortgage, you lose that home. The number of foreclosures in the United States last year was up 174% from 2021, and mortgage delinquencies have been rising in recent months. When homeowners get booted out of their home, they don't get their down payment back. They also don't get all of the mortgage payments that they've made back, and the banks get to keep the money and the homes. Perhaps you've paid off your mortgage. Does that mean that you now own your home? No, not really. Just refuse to pay your property tax and see what happens. At best, you can say that you have the right to rent your home from the government. In any event, the reality is that the banks now own more of our homes than we do, and just check out your most recent mortgage statement to see how much home equity you actually have. If you recently purchased your home, it probably is not that much. Things used to be far different in this country. Once upon a time, ordinary Americans owned most of the homes and most of the land in this nation, but now the banks own most of it. Sadly, most American families that believe that they own homes are actually enslaved to 20 or 30-year debt contracts. And if something happens and you are unable to keep making payments, you could lose everything. Number 2, do you think that you own your vehicle? You don't own it if you're still making payments on it. Of course, if you stop making payments, you will rapidly lose that vehicle, but even if it's paid off, you can only operate the vehicle if you do the following. You must pay the license fee, you must pay the car registration fee, you must pay the emissions inspection fee, you must pay the property taxes on that vehicle if it applies in your area, you must pay the tire taxes, you must pay the gas taxes. And if you have paid all of those, then you are permitted to drive only where the government allows you to drive and only under the rules that the government sets for you. But at least you own your vehicle, right? Number 3, about your possessions. Do you own them? Well, yes, you probably own some possessions, but that does not mean that they are not enslaving you. After all, did you use a credit card to pay for any of them? If so, you could end up paying far more for your possessions than you originally thought that they cost. Number 4, do you own your education? Well, it's undeniable that nobody can even take it away from you, but if you took out student loans to get your education, that debt may end up enslaving you for decades. The borrower is a servant of the lender, and student loan debt is more of a financial drain on Americans than ever before. Americans now owe more on their student loans than they do on their credit cards. Today, Americans owe more than $1.7 trillion on their student loans, which is a new all-time record. Number 5, you will protect your wealth if you put your money in the bank, will you? No. In fact, your wealth will be systematically destroyed in the bank. Inflation is a hidden tax on every single dollar that you own because it destroys the value of all dollars in existence. There are some Americans that have been saving money for decades, but those savings are being taxed into oblivion by inflation. Just compare the price of the carton of eggs 5 years ago to the price of carton of eggs today. When the cost of living goes up, the value of money that we put into the bank goes down. Number 6, insurance costs continue to soar after insuring virtually everything in our lives. Many of us barely have any money left over to actually live our lives with. 7, state and local governments all over the nation have turned to ticket writing as a primary revenue source. They know that most people do not carefully follow the speed limit, so they have turned that behavior into a revenue-generating tool. 8, some states have decided to simply confiscate wealth even if nothing has been done wrong. For example, some states are now aggressively seizing unclaimed safe deposit boxes. If you have a safe deposit box that you have not checked on in a while, you might want to make sure that it's still there. 9, you might end up losing your valuables when you cross the border. U.S. border agents regularly seize laptops and other electronic devices as people cross the border. In many cases, those items are never returned. Number 10, if you don't pay your property taxes, you will lose your home, and it will likely be a big Wall Street bank that will end up owning it. The big Wall Street banks have been buying up thousands of tax liens and are making a killing by socking distressed homeowners with predatory interests, outrageous penalties, and almost unbelievable legal fees. Number 11, of course, the federal income tax is one of the biggest ways that our wealth is being drained. One of the primary reasons why the Federal Reserve and the IRS were established back in 1913 was to redistribute wealth. Wealth is transferred from hardworking Americans to the U.S. government, and then it's redistributed to those that are not working or spent on some of the most wasteful programs imaginable. Needless to say, federal taxes are just one of the taxes that we pay. The truth is that the average American pays dozens of different taxes each year. The following are just a few examples of the insidious forms of taxation that drain our wealth. 12, building permit tax. 13, capital gains tax. 14, CDL tax, license tax. 15, cigarette tax. 16, corporate income tax. 17, court fines and indirect tax. 18, dog license tax. 19, federal unemployment tax, FUTA. 20, fishing license tax. 21, food license tax. 22, fuel permit tax. 23, gasoline tax. 24, gift tax. 25, hunting license tax. 26, inheritance tax. 27, IRS penalties tax on top of tax. 28, liquor tax. 29, local income tax. 30, luxury taxes. 31, marriage license tax. 32, Medicare tax. 33, payroll taxes. 34, phone taxes. 35, property tax. 36, real estate tax. 37, recreational vehicle tax. 38, road toll booth taxes. 39, road usage tax for truckers. 40, sales taxes. 41, school tax. 42, septic permit tax. 43, social security tax. 44, state income tax. 45, state unemployment tax, SUTA. 46, toll bridge taxes. 47, toll tunnel taxes. 48, traffic fines, indirect taxation. 49, trailer registration tax. 50, utility taxes. 51, vehicle license registration tax. 52, vehicle sales tax. 53, watercraft registration tax. 54, well permit tax. 55, workers' compensation tax. When you take all forms of taxation into account, there are some people that hand over more than 50% of their incomes to various levels of government each year. Even the future is being taken away from us. The future is literally being stolen from our children and our grandchildren. They will be inheriting the $36 trillion national debt that we have accumulated. And what we've done to future generations is unthinkable. And yet we continue borrowing colossal amounts of money. And when you base an entire economy on debt, eventually you end up with money problems that never seem to end. And as a nation, we're now enslaved to a vicious spiral of debt that threatens to destroy everything that our forefathers worked so hard to build. As the debt loads of our federal, state, and local governments become even more burdensome, they're going to want even more money from us. For decades, we gave in to the new tax after new tax, thinking that it would finally satisfy them, but it never seems to be enough. They always want more. Unfortunately, most Americans are so caught up in the rat race that they never take much time to think about who designed the rat race or why they are running in it. So it's time to wake up. We're being systematically abused by the control freaks that are running things, and it's time to say that enough is enough. This is by Michael Snyder on the Economic Collapse blog. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. About the author, Michael Snyder's new book, a blockbuster entitled Why, is available in paperback and for Kindle on Amazon. He also has written 8 other books available on Amazon, including Chaos, End Times, 7-Year Apocalypse, Lost Prophecies of Future America, The Beginning of the End, Living a Life That Really Matters. When you purchase any of Michael's books, you help to support the work he's doing. And you can also get his articles by email as soon as he publishes them by subscribing to his Substack newsletter. Michael has published thousands of articles on the Economic Collapse blog, End of the American Dream, and the most important news. And he always freely and happily allows others to publish those articles on their own websites. These are such troubled times and people need hope. John 3:16 tells us about the hope that God has given us through Jesus Christ. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. If you have not already done so, we strongly urge you to invite Jesus Christ to be your Lord and Savior today. Support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.